and welcome to Baguette Baguette. I'm TK, Terry Kaufman, an American living in France for the last 22 years.
And I'm Marie-Aude Mériguet, born in Paris, and well, I've been living here my whole life.
We wanted to make a podcast about everything we love about France.
French food, French music, French culture, you name it.
Enjoy the episode. So one of the objectives of this podcast is to talk about the little wonderful things about France. And you know, one of the best things about France for me is this thing called the Jambon Beurre. It's a sandwich and it is good. Can you tell us a little bit about it, please?
Yes, of course. The Jambon Beurre is a very classic French sandwich made of French baguette, butter, and ham.
That's it.
It's basically Jambon Beurre means ham and butter. So that's
It's not even a ham and cheese. Like in the US, we have a ham and cheese. You don't even need the cheese. That's how good it is. You just have ham and butter, and it's fantastic. The most popular sandwich in France is, in fact, the Jambon Beurre. 64% of all sandwiches sold are, in fact, a Jambon Beurre. So if you multiply that around, I don't know, $3 or €3 a sandwich, that's a sandwich that's worth a few billion dollars. So that's pretty amazing. So why is it so successful?
Well, I guess that the success of the Jambon Beurre, Thierry, is that, first of all, it's delicious.
It's true.
As simple as that, yeah. It's really delicious and very, very simple. I guess there is something very powerful behind simple things, provided you have one major ingredient, which is the quality of things. What I mean is that it's not just baguette, ham, and butter. It's good quality baguette, good quality butter, good quality ham. And the luck that we have here in France is that most of the time, it's very easy to find very good baguette, very good butter, and very good ham. So that's it.
Exactly. I think in some ways you could say, well, what makes it so French? Because, I mean, hey, I think every country has a ham sandwich. But I think what does make it so French is that simplicity that it's a bit, it's like its name, a Jambon Beurre. It's a bit Parisien, it's a bit chic. It's very simple, but everybody eats a Jambon Beurre finally.
Yes, everybody does. And it's like no matter where you come from, what your day is going to be like, what is the job you do, or if you're a student or you're still in high school or, an old lady, everybody eats Jambon Beurre. It's very accessible and it is very accessible and it is for everyone. So I guess it's also part of the success. Yet I don't know if it's going to be part of our conversation, but I would like to ask you what makes it so French. What is it? From the other side of the ocean, what makes it so French, actually? Because I know there's baguette, or maybe there is something else to it.
Well, I think it's the part that it is kind of French, and like a baguette is so good by itself, and then you have this special butter that's kind of beurre de micelle, which is like kind of half salted, but that in itself is just fantastic. Just that with the baguette for breakfast is astounding. And then you add the ham, and then there you go. It's like it's like a beautiful French woman with her perfect hair and her nice designer jeans and her white T-shirt, just walking down Rue de Rivoli. It's simple, but it's class. So
you make it sound very dreamy. Like I can see butterflies and the sun is shining and the rail of light is illuminating a Jambon Beurre in the streets of Paris.
There's something magic. There's a little bit of magic in that, that's for sure. So the Jambon Beurre, do you think we can export that to the US?
Well, I think technically, I think that it could be exported anywhere. But actually, so that's in theory. But actually, if you go to another country, it's not just the US, it's any other country than France. I noticed in the few other countries I've visited that you never quite find the same bread as in France. You never quite find the same taste of butter and the same kind of ham. There's always something different. I don't know. There's always something different. So the taste of France, I have it in France. I never found it anywhere but in France.
I understand that because I understand that in the US we make great Tex-Mex food and nowhere else on the planet can somebody make Tex-Mex than in the US.
Regardless of exporting it, is there any equivalent in the United States of a sandwich that is such a success, accessible to everyone in every little part, even the most remote part of the country, as the Jambon Beurre is here in France?
Well, I would say the first thing that comes to mind, in fact, is a bologna sandwich. But a bologna sandwich you would never actually buy in a store. It's something that you would make at home. It's got processed white bread. It's got processed meat. It's got processed mayo, mayonnaise, and mustard. And there's those little, orange processed cheese, those squares that you put on hamburgers. You can add that if you want. So it's definitely not natural. It's still pretty good, but maybe after you're like 25 years old, you're probably going to stop eating a bologna sandwich. But that's kind of like the go-to. That and peanut butter and jelly are the go-to for lunches for kids. It's if you put a bologna sandwich up against a jambon beurre, I think I'm going to take a jambon beurre every time.
I guess me too. It's not because I'm French. It's because it's really, really good.
That's true.
Oh, I noticed another difference from what you just said. Also in France, I think that people will naturally go buy a jambon beurre rather than make it at home. It's really something because it's so easy to find it. We can find it anywhere in bakeries, in any kind of store, in what would look like the delis that you have in New York, for example. We can buy it anywhere.
That's true.
Train stations, I don't know, everywhere we can buy a jambon beurre.
Anyway, if you happen to be buying a jambon beurre, make sure you flip it over and check to make sure that the bread is not industrial. So if it's got these like little crossings, so it looks completely uniform across the bottom, well, that means that it's probably an industrial bread and not a real baguette. So just a little tip for you. Okay, so we talked about the jambon beurre, and that's obviously the king, but there are some other good ones too.
Yeah, there are a lot of good and also classic and very famous sandwiches in France. The basis will be that you keep the baguette. And we have tuna sandwiches, we have chicken sandwiches. Most of the time you add mayonnaise in those and a few vegetables such as maybe salad or tomatoes, sometimes an egg. And there's also another one that I love very much, which also has become a classic, which is the rosette cornichon. So you have a pickle, and rosette is French.
It's like a salami.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a salami from the south of France, and you put butter again, the pickle, the bread, and there you have it.
I'm going to add the rillettes and the pâté. Those are two things I didn't know when I lived in the U.S.
Yeah.
And then I discovered them here. And yeah, that's definitely worth the detour. Generally, I was really happy to discover the sandwiches here. They're all kind of very simple with like 2 or 3 ingredients maximum. You don't have like the big deli sandwiches we have in New York where it's just, mounds of meat and cheese, which are fantastic as well. But it's obviously a different type. The only one I don't like as much is more the salmon thing. You have salmon slices with butter. That's a little bit too much for me. It's a little overkill.
Yeah, I don't know. I agree with you, but I don't know if it's personal. I don't know. I haven't asked everyone around what they thought about the salmon, but to me personally, it comes last in my list of sandwiches I love. So to pick a sandwich with salmon, there would have to be no other one left.
Yeah, the last one. All right. Well, listen. I hope you're hungry because I'm hungry now.
I am. I guess we both know what we'll be eating for lunch.
Yes. And maybe next time when we come back, we can talk about another famous French sandwich, which would be a croque-monsieur. But that's for another day. Listen, Myriad, nice chatting with you.
You too, Thierry.
We hope you enjoyed this episode.
Please follow us on Instagram and let us know what you love about France.
Maybe it'll be our next episode. Allez, until next time, à bientôt.
À la prochaine.